This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. We're here in Las Vegas and I'm joined by trainer Robert Garcia. Robert, it's good to see you. We've been trying to do a Zoom interview for a while. We haven't quite been able to get over the line. Instead, we get something better. We get to do it in person. How are you?
That's even better, right? Doing great. Staying busy, but doing great.
Staying busy. Actually, this weekend you have two big fights, but you're here in Vegas. Before we come on to BAM, let's start off with Angel Fierro. Talk to me about this link-up. Talk to me about this rematch against Isaac Cruz.
Look, when Fierro came to me, I had already seen the fight, obviously, and I went back to study the fight a little, and I'd seen things that we could add to Fierro's style that could benefit him in a rematch. I know it was a war, and it was a very close fight, and this fight, the rematch, is also going to be another war, another close fight. But I think little things that we added, combinations, speed and footwork that we added, that could make a little bit of a difference and could get us to get the win.
Obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of people, and yourself included there, just said you expect to see another war, but with some small differences that will benefit your man. How much of what you've seen working with Angel so far, are you confident that we haven't seen in him in the ring so far?
Look, we've always seen him fight wars, and especially that fight against Pitbull, it was a war. It was a back-to-back. They were both landing. They both landed great punches. I think Fierro did hurt him in the third round a little. I think he did some. I don't think he was hurt to where he was going out, because Pitbull is a warrior. He's got a great chin, and I don't see Pitbull getting knocked out either, because he's a very tough, physically, mentally fighter. He's a warrior, but I do see things that combinations, speed, that could make a little bit of a difference, and that's what we worked on: speed, combinations, and a little bit of footwork also.
Obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, you have another fight taking place away from here. You got Bam Rodriguez in the unification against Cafu. What was the decision behind you opting to come here with Angel Fierro and the rest of your team traveling out to support Bam?
Look, Bam is very comfortable with my son Pita. Pita, knows Bam. They're Pita's a little bit older than him, but they get along very well. So Bam has no problem with that. It's happened before. It's not the first time. It happened when I was in England with Anthony Joshua. Bam fought, and my son did all training camp with Bam, and had no problem. Bam had no problem with it. He's very sure of what my son could do in the ring and in the corner also. So we have a great team. That's what makes us a great team, that my fighters know that if we split up, they know that I go one place and the rest of my team goes another place, and they'll be fine.
How important is it that you have a team like that, and especially your son, your blood? He's always going to be able to, not necessarily emulate, but do as good as possible a job as anybody. It'll be him. How important is it that you've got a team like that you can rely on, because you have such a stacked stable?
We have so many fighters. That's why we have so much. Also the same amount of coaches that are there to help out. Look, it's happening this weekend. It's going to happen again August 2nd in Chicago. I'm going to be with Duarte. In California, my son's going to be with Chop Chop and Art Barrera, and we also have three of our other fighters in Austin, Texas. So we split up. I'm gonna be with Duarte. My son will be in California, and maybe Felipe or Chepe will be in Texas. So we're gonna, that's what makes it a great team. That my fighters are comfortable with whichever coach is with them. Bam is okay with Pita with them. If I were to decide I have to be with Bam and Felipe stays with Fierro would be okay with it too. That's the way my team works.
Talking about this fight between Bam and Cafu, obviously everybody knows how difficult of a challenge that will be. What are you expecting from Cafu in this unification?
Look, Cafu, the boxing world doesn't know him very much, because he just became champion, and he's from Africa, so people are not very familiar with him. But us watching his fights, I think he's the most dangerous 115-pound champion out there. Look, we can't look past Cafu. That's why we never brought up the fight that was announced already, and Bam was not okay with that, because Bam has Cafu next, and that's the only focus we have right now, because Cafu could be more dangerous than Martinez. Honestly, Cafu is the real deal. We can't look past him.
That's something I was going to ask you about. Obviously, the Martinez fight was announced last week in New York. Were you guys aware that it was going to be announced, and how frustrating was it for Bam, as you say, to see that one going ahead when you've got a task at hand first? You've got to get through Cafu.
Look, there's no we knew about the fight already. They had already brought it up. I had already talked about it, but not Bam. But we didn't know there was going to be a press conference. That I didn't know, and nobody knew because we were not involved. We were not going to be involved because we have to focus on our next fight, which is Cafu. That would be disrespecting Cafu and ourselves. We're not going to be looking past Cafu. Me as a trainer, I've never done it, and I can't. We do have plans. We do have plans for Bam becoming undisputed, but we're talking about 2 fights from now. But we do have plans. But in order for us to do that, we have to beat Cafu first, then we have to beat Puma Martinez, and then we have to be the 3rd champion. So, we're 3 fights from that in order to happen. I do want that to happen, but we have to focus fight by fight, and right now it's Cafu. We can't think about anything else.
I don't know if you're superstitious, Robert, but obviously over this period of time since Saudi Arabia and those have come into the boxing world, we've seen the likes of the Wilder-Joshua fight fall through because Deontay Wilder lost to Joseph Parker when that fight was agreed. We saw the Haney-Garcia 2 rematch fall through because obviously Ryan Garcia was unsuccessful against Rolly Romero. Are you concerned? Are you superstitious at all that have maybe jumped the gun a little bit?
Never been superstitious. Never been one of those persons that thinks, oh, somebody could do a voodoo job on you. None of that. Never have been.
I know I'm going to jump even further into the future, but I saw Bam talk about a potential fight at some point with Junto and Nakatani. He feels that maybe that's the most realistic out of the fight between Nakatani, or a new way for him to entertain. Have you guys had any talks about a potential fight with Junto Nakatani?
There was talk, and there was Mr. Honda again talked to me and told me he didn't really like that fight. I'm pretty sure he also talked to Rudy Hernandez because me and Rudy Hernandez already talked about it and we had already pretty much agreed. But we also respect Mr. Honda. He's a great person, a great promoter. My first 3 professional fights when I was 17 were in Japan under Mr. Honda's promotion. So I have nothing but love and respect for him. He told us he doesn't want that fight, and the fight won't happen unless, a year from now, 2 years from now, there's, something so big and so that we convince him that we want to make it happen, then it'll happen. But as of right now, he's the one that told us that he doesn't want us to fight each other.
So just to follow up on, you said you had basically agreed on your side. So yourself and the team and Bam, you'd agreed everything on your behalf. It was just on the other side.
Well, I wasn't the other side either because they agreed too. Oh yeah, Rudy Hernandez, they had already agreed too. It was more Mr. Honda.
Why did Mr. Honda not want the fight?
Because both are his fighters. He loves both of them, and he doesn't. He told us the same thing when it came to trying to fight Chocolatito Gonzalez. Same thing, and we got to respect that because he's a great person. He's shown us nothing but love and respect, and at the end, nothing but support for Bam. Since Bam's first professional fight, he's supported Bam, and he's been behind Bam. So we got to respect that.
Was that fight then, if it had gone ahead, was that meant to be instead of what will be the Puma Martinez fight?
Well, there was talk about it. But like I said, Mr. Honda, we respect his decisions, and that's and we got to go with that.
Moving away from that, let's come on to the main event on Saturday. Pacquiao Barrios. Do you expect to see Manny Pacquiao roll back the years, Robert?
I would love to see it because that would be history. That would be the best of all times. To do something like that. Pacquiao is a very loved person throughout the world, so I would love to see that, but it's going to be hard. It's at 46, it's tough, man. It's been done before. I'm not saying it hasn't, but it's tough. It's very tough. Barrios is young, strong, hungry, and he's going to do whatever it takes to do the opposite. And I see Pacquiao having good first 4 or 5 rounds, but after that, could be in trouble.
Away from him on this undercard, we see Tszyu, Sebastian, Fundora 2 take place. I'm sure you've probably got one eye on it because you've got a certain Virgil Ortiz in your gym. So what do you expect to see in that rematch?
Man, look, it's going to be a great fight. I think Fundora has learned so much since the first time they fought. He's improved so much that it's going to be hard for Tszyu to beat him. But Me deep inside, I would love Team Tszyu to win because a fight versus Virgil Ortiz is very easy to make. It was already scheduled to happen, so this time around, I would love that fight to happen.
He just said to me as well, Tim, that the one fight that excites him is the one with Virgil Ortiz. How much of an entertaining bout would that be if we did see those two cross paths?
That would be huge. It would be awesome. It would be a great fight. And, they were already scheduled to fight, and Team Tszyu also wants the fight. We won the fight. Virgil wants the fight. So that's why I'm telling you, deep inside, I would love Team Tszyu to win because I know that's a huge fight, and Team Tszyu wants it. I want it. Everybody wants it. But it's going to be hard. Fundora's too tall, too awkward. And like I said, Fundora has improved so much that it's going to be hard for Team Tszyu to pull it off. But, not everything's possible in boxing.
Obviously, you've also got Jaron Ennis moving up to 154. Eddie Hearn's spoken about that fight with Virgil Ortiz. Have there been any conversations about that taking place, if not maybe at the back end of this year, going early next year or anything?
There was at first, but from what I've heard, I didn't hear it from Boots or his team, so I can't say it's true. I was told that Boots said he needs two tune-up fights at 154, which I don't blame him either. He's a young fighter. He's smart. He's moving up in weight, so he's got to test waters there before he goes in there against somebody like Virgil. I don't blame him. He's an athlete. He's a young fighter. He's got a smart team behind him. His dad, they're very smart, and he's got a bright future, man. He's a great fighter, so I can't argue and be mad at him for saying he needs a couple of fights before that. So we'll wait and see what happens after he does one or two, and then maybe he'll decide he wants to fight Virgil by next year, and that'll be nice.
Raymond Muratalla, Robert, what's going on with this IBF situation?
Look, I believe we're allowed to have a stay busy, a title defense, but if we go straight into our mandatory, if Top Rank and Matchroom work something out to get the Andi Cruz fight, we're ready for it too. Andi Cruz is human also. He's a great fighter, gold medalist, great talent. But I think I have the better fighter. I would love, we're ready for that fight too.
And then just two fights to get your thoughts on before we wrap this up. This weekend in the UK, we see Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois running back in a rematch. Who do you see coming out on top, Robert?
Look, I think Usyk is the best in the world, pound for pound. I think Usyk will. I'm not saying he will have no problems because he's fighting, and Dubois is a great fighter too. But I think Usyk wins that fight.
Last one in September, Canelo-Crawford. Who comes out on top? Will Canelo's size advantage be the difference? Will Terrence's slick skills pay dividends? Will the size be too much? Will Canelo's performance against William Skull raise more doubts? What do you make?
It's a tough one to pick because Canelo's big, strong, but lately Canelo hasn't really gone for the knockout. He doesn't really try to knock his opponents out. A little flat-footed, throws one punch at a time. So I think Canelo wins the fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford pulls off a decision because Crawford has great footwork, great skills, and great speed also. He could throw 2-3 punch combinations and move and probably confuse Canelo and maybe come out with a win with a decision. I'm excited about that fight.
Robert, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. Good luck to all of your guys over here and obviously over in Dallas this weekend. Thanks for speaking to me in Boxing News.
Appreciate it. Thank you.